So, on top of theories of truth, we need to discuss theories of justification. There really are, it's hard to say whether or not there are theories about the nature of belief outside of theories about the nature of justification, right? So, tackling justification really allows us to dig into the nature of belief one way or the other. I think if you want to talk about theories of belief, you have to talk about the intersection between theories of justification and theories of truth, right? So we'll get into the nature of belief as we tackle various philosophers' accounts on the nature of knowledge itself. But before that, we do need to address theories of justification. So there are four major theories regarding the nature of justification. There are foundationalism, reliabilism, internalism, and externalism. So we'll go through these in order. Foundationalism says that justification, our justification for beliefs, need not end in an infinite regress. Right? That there are some axiomatic beliefs in our systems of belief that just are, right? They don't need to be justified. So there are some foundational beliefs that can go unjustified, and upon which we can build the rest of our systems of belief. Reliabilism says that as long as a belief's justification is reliably produced and it is true, right? And so as long as the belief is also true, it's knowledge, right? So this means that beliefs, right? So what does reliably produced mean? Well, one of the strengths of reliabilism is that it allows for different beliefs to be produced in different ways, right? So what is reliable for testimonial knowledge or, knowledge through language is different than what is considered reliable production from the senses, and so on and so forth, right? And this is one of the strengths of reliabilism. And functionally, what it means is that the means by which a belief are produced depends upon the type of justification necessary or the type of knowledge, right? If it's factual knowledge, then if it's factual knowledge like testimonial knowledge, then knowledge through language is going to be produced in a different way than knowledge through the senses, or than knowledge that is than like skillful knowledge, something that knowledge that you have to act out. Right? Now, internalism and externalism have to do with whether or not the source of justification is dependent upon truth, or it dependent upon the mind, the mental states, or dependent upon the world to some degree. Right? So internalism says that all justification rests on internal mental states. So it assumes something of dualism here. Right? Internalism and externalism assume whether or not dualism is true. Right? If you are an internalist, you at least assume that dualism has some that dualism is true, right? In some form or fashion. Right? And if you're an externalist, then you might not necessarily be a dualist, but you aren't necessarily a dualist, right? If you are an internalist, you are necessarily a dualist because you're saying that it rests on mental states, something that is not a feature of the world, right? Unless you can show somehow that mental states are a physical feature, in which case that might as well be an externalist approach, right? So internalism, all justifications rest on internal mental states. right? So we don't need to appeal to the way the world is to justify our beliefs. With externalism, at least some of our justifications are rest on outside of our mental states. Right? So they depend on some facts about the world, separable from our existence, subject to change. Right? Um, and this is the reason why externalists aren't necessarily dualist, but can be dualist, right? Because it's saying at least some of, right? So if you argue from a weak externalist position, which says that, oh yeah, no, and not all our beliefs need to rest on outside mental or like on outside features of the world. Um, some of them can rest on internal mental states. Then you're adhering to dualism because you're saying that there are mental states. If you're going by strong externalism, then you're essentially adhering to you're not necessarily rejecting dualism, but you're saying but you're definitely leaning more towards a monist position.